Hello, children. How are you? So, today in our resource room class, children, I have a lovely story for you all. The name of the story is Little Red Riding Hood. And this story is about a girl whose name was Little Red Riding Hood. Well, everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood because she always wore this red dress with a hood that was made by her grandma. She wore it almost every day. So everybody started calling her Little Red Riding Hood. Hello! One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mum called her and she said, "Oh, Little Red Riding Hood, would you go to your grandma's house today? She isn't keeping well. So I want you to go and give her this basket of goodies." On listening this, Little Red Riding Hood was very excited. She was really happy to pay a visit to her grandma. And she quickly said, "Oh, Mum, that would be great. I'm going to give this basket full of goodies and I'm sure she's going to love it." She took the basket and she started off. Before she could leave, Little Red Riding Hood's mother told her something very important. On your way to Grandma's house, you are going to see a big jungle. While you walk through that jungle, do not stop anywhere and do not talk to any stranger. Would you remember that? Little Red Riding Hood nodded her head and she said, "Yes, Mama, don't worry. I'm going to take care of these two things. I'm not going to talk to any stranger and I'm not going to stop anywhere. Don't worry." She took the basket and she started off. The only way to Granny's house was through a deep dark forest. But was Little Red Riding Hood scared? Oh no, she wasn't scared at all. In fact, on her way, she saw beautiful butterflies and she completely forgot what her mother had told her. She started playing with them. She completely forgot what her mother had told her, not to stop anywhere. While she was playing with these butterflies, there was somebody hiding behind a tree and was watching her. Can you see someone hiding behind that tree? Can you guess who that is? Well, I can see a pair of shoes and I can see a bushy tail as well. There. Let's see who that is. Behind the tree, there was a big bad wolf. The wolf was keeping a watch on Little Red Riding Hood. And he thought,
"Wow, what a delicious meal. Well, I'm going to eat this little girl today."
The wolf was very clever. He went closer to Little Red Riding Hood and he said,
"Oh, my dear child, what are you doing alone in this jungle?"
"Oh, I am on my way to my granny's house. You know, she's not keeping well. I am carrying this basket full of goodies for her." The wolf was very clever. He thought,
"Oh, won't that be nice if I could eat this girl and her granny too?"
With this, the wolf asked Little Red Riding Hood,
"What is your name, my little girl?"
Oh, my name is Little Red Riding Hood.
And where does your granny live?
Oh, she just lives across this forest.
All right, Little Red Riding Hood. It was really nice meeting you. Goodbye, my child.
The wolf had a wicked plan. The wolf was very clever. And he ran as fast as he could and reached Granny's house before Little Red Riding Hood. He reached there first, and on reaching, he knocked at the door. On hearing the knock, Granny said, "Who's there at the door?" On listening to this, the wolf quickly changed his voice and he said, "Oh, Granny, it is me, Little Red Riding Hood. I have come to meet you, Granny." On listening to this, Granny was really happy. She jumped out of the bed and went to open the door. As Granny opened the door, the big bad wolf pounced on her. She ran as fast as she could, but the wolf was too fast for her. The wolf caught Granny and he quickly swallowed her. After swallowing Granny, the wolf had another plan. He quickly wore Granny's clothes. He wore Granny's cap. He wore Granny's nightgown and jumped onto Granny's bed. He took the bedsheet over him and hid himself inside it. He waited there for Little Red Riding Hood to come. After a while, Little Red Riding Hood reached Granny's house. She knocked at the door. Was Granny inside? No, it was the wolf who was waiting for Little Red Riding Hood. She knocked at the door. Knock, knock. "Granny, it is me, Little Red Riding Hood. Would you please open the door for me?" The wolf was very clever. He changed his voice again and spoke. "Oh, my little child. Oh, please come inside. The door is open for you, Little Red Riding Hood." As Little Red Riding Hood went inside the bedroom, she looked at her granny and she said, "Oh my God, Granny, you look so strange. आपकी आंखों को क्या हो गया, Granny? आपकी आंखें इतनी बड़ी कैसे हो गई? How come your eyes have become so big?" To this, the wolf replied, "Oh, my child, I have got these big eyes so that I can see you better." Little Red Riding Hood went a little closer and she said, "Oh, Granny, what has happened to your ears? आपके कानों को क्या हो गया, नानी? आपके कान इतने बड़े कैसे हो गए? How come your ears have grown so big?" To this, the wolf replied, "I have got these big ears so that I can hear you well, my child." The wolf was very clever. The wolf said, "Come closer, dearest, and give your granny a kiss." As Little Red Riding Hood went closer, she looked at her and she said, "Oh, Granny, how come your teeth are so big?" To this, the wolf jumped out and said, "Oh, I have got these big teeth to eat you better, my child." And the wolf leaped from the bed and ran after Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood screamed loudly for help. Help! Help! Somebody save me! As Little Red Riding Hood screamed for help, a woodcutter who was in the jungle cutting trees heard her screams, and he came running to help her. He opened the door and he rushed inside with his big axe. He picked up the axe and hit the wolf on his head. As he did so, the wolf coughed badly and popped out Granny. Thank God Granny was safe and sound. The woodcutter picked up the axe one more time and hit the wolf on his head again. The wolf ran out of the door and was never to be seen again. Little Red Riding Hood was so happy to see her granny safe and sound, and she promised that she is not going to talk to any stranger ever. This brings us to the end of our story, Little Red Riding Hood. And children, just like Little Red Riding Hood, you too remember, never talk to strangers. Stay safe and stay happy. Bye-bye.